everybody, and welcome to the team call tonight. I am going to be talking about one of the most important aspects of coaching, and that is inviting privately. So when you become a new coach and when you've been a coach for a little while, it's very easy to fall into only inviting in posts and thinking that as long as you're sharing your journey, which is a really important component to what we do, that's enough. And it most certainly is not. This business comes in two halves, which make a whole, and 50% of that is sharing your journey publicly, using social media, whichever platform, Instagram, Insta Stories, whichever you're most comfortable with, sharing that journey, creating curiosity about what you're doing, creating excitement, creating continuity with your followers, showcasing that you are on this journey and you are sticking to it. That's a very, very important half of the puzzle. But that only accounts for 50% of the work. You know, a lot of times I hear, oh, I posted about my challenge group or I posted about my workouts and no one's interested. But because of some of the laws of social media, some of the laws of affinity, and frankly, some of the schedules of your followers and some of the attention spans, everyone who you think are seeing those posts are just not. The other half, so 50% of this business, and that's achieving your goal of Success Club, of recruiting new coaches, of bringing new people into your business, which is vital to your survival in this business, is inviting privately. And I know previously, I just had like the craziest deja vu. That's so weird. Previously, we had learned about, all different ways to invite on social media. What I have done is created 7 brand new slides of exactly what to say, kind of a sounding board into how to privately invite. So what's working, what's not, how to word things, how to be enthusiastic, how to communicate that excitement and continuity in your messages when you're talking with people, how to reach out to different types of people, people who you don't know, who you found in groups, people who you've been friends with for a while, family members, people who are following you on social media, people who are cold market, warm market, all of those things, different scenarios. But I want to talk about a couple things. First and foremost, I'm going to share the screen so that we all can see the slides. Just give me 1 second. And let me make them bigger because I don't know if you can see these. I will post these slides later on, so if they're difficult to see, they will be located in the file section of the group, so don't worry. So like I said, posting publicly is only 50% of the battle. If you are, striving towards that first goal of Success Club or striving towards that goal of recruiting new coaches, a big part of this business is having a constant stream of people who are coming to you. And 50% of that comes from direct connection. We have a large group of people on social media who either A, see your posts and are too shy to reach out. I want you guys to think about, how you felt about social media before you were a coach, before you were using it as a business. I don't know, can you guys hear me? Someone said that it's frozen, but I don't see that it's frozen, so I'm gonna keep on going. So there are, certain sects of people who are uncomfortable reaching out, who would rather just read something and kind of sit back. That means nothing about your post. It means nothing about what you do as a coach. It just means the personality of that person is not to reach out to you. That's simply what it means. So here are some of my top tips about private inviting on social media. This is for all platforms, specifically Facebook page, Instagram page, Insta Stories, all of that kind of stuff. So keep things simple and short. Time and time again, I hear people who want to give all the information in their first message. They say, I've done a post about a challenge group and now everybody wants information, so I need to send a huge message about, hey girl, I've started with this new health and fitness company. We are the #1 in the US and Canada. We have fitness programs, meal plans, portion control containers. I am starting an online accountability group that goes for 30 days. I lost you 10 sentences ago, right? People nowadays, in the social media climate that we're in and in the way that things are trending, they want short and simple, happy, upbeat information. So if you guys are sending messages that are extremely long and chock full of information and kind of are a paragraph long, then I want you to overthink that. Don't overload with too much info, and we'll go over exactly how to do that. If you have been doing that, please don't think, oh, I've been doing this wrong. I'm so terrible at this. It took me 4 years to perfect invites, and I'm still perfecting them and tweaking them as time goes on, hence these brand new slides. Secondly, connect first. I hear people ask me all the time, should I send the first message just about Beachbody? And the answer is no. I want you guys to think about an invite on social media just like an invite in person. So if you were walking through the grocery store and checking out everything in the aisle and you came upon someone, you guys were both checking out the same thing in the frozen food aisle, would you immediately say, hey, have you ever considered joining a fitness accountability group for 30 days on social media? The person will be like, what? Like, you're such a weirdo. That's not how we connect with other human beings. I think because we have a computer screen in between us and the other person, we often fall back on, I'm just going to send this generic copy and pasted message, and that often communicates salesiness, not connecting with a person. So I don't want you to overthink the time frame between connecting and inviting, but first connect with that person. Ask them about their life. Comment on how you came to be connected with each other on social media. Comment on some common ground. And then once you've done that, had a haha JK moment, acted like you were best friends, then move on to what the point of your message is in the first place. Number 3, these are just templates. So please don't get stuck behind these examples. I'll have people who use examples of mine and come back to me and say, this example doesn't work. Well, if your voice is very different from my voice or the other coaches that I pulled to help me create these slides, say your voice on social media is very hip and emoji filled, and then you use one of my invites that is sort of old lady-ish and hey girl-ish, and you would never say hey girl, then that's where those don't connect. So these are not things that are set in stone. These are literally just to help you see how to better connect with people and how I personally and some other top coaches on the team word things to get yourself started right. Have you thought about the fact that you have something great to offer? People can sense your feeling in your messages, right? So if you, number 1, are at 100% behind the products and what we have to offer, and know that it's a good value and know that it's adding to you, know that the community of coaches we have is supportive and uplifting and there for you, that's going to come across in your messages. When people give you an objection about the price or about the time or about not being good at it, then you are going to crumble at that, and people can feel that you're not enthusiastic about it. If I was one of my top coaches, Madison, she always says that she looks at inviting like inviting to a party, right? If I came up to you and said, hey, do you want to go to my party? I mean, I think it's going to be kind of fun. We're not going to have like music or anything. And I mean, it might cost you some gas to get there. So I understand if you don't want to come, but I'm going to have it anyway. You'd be like, that sounds like a terrible party. I'm not going to go to that, right? But if you talked about your party like it was the best party in the world and you have to make sacrifices to get to it, then that is going to come across in your messages, right? Act like you're talking to your best friend. If you wouldn't say the things that you're saying in a message on a phone call, in person, when you're talking to people that you haven't seen in a while, then don't ever type it, right? Use common terms, not Beachbody words. So we have to think about the fact that people who are outside of our little circle, they don't know what a challenge pack is. They don't know what an accountability group is. Those things are very foreign to them. So when you're typing out your message, remember that the person on the other side of that has no idea what our acronyms or lingo means, right? We have to say things like a workout program and Shakeology, right? Not challenge pack, and explain those things. We are living in an emoji exclamation point and GIF economy. If your messages are not fun and filled with life, people get very bored. Nowadays, people are looking for a fun part-time way to get healthy and fit and possibly make some extra money. If you're super serial in all of your messages and everything ends with a period and you're not excited about what you're doing, we underestimate how many people go through life working 9-to-5 jobs with very little excitement day to day, right? So we have to spice things up, have fun, use emojis, use GIFs. Remember to listen more than you give info, right? So a lot of people have a tendency, and myself included early on, all of the stuff that I'm talking about is stuff that I definitely did early on in my business. I had a tendency to shove information at people instead of listening to and asking questions about what they were interested in. What did they think of what I was doing? What did they think a challenge group is? Have they ever heard of our programs and products? What are they looking to do? What attracted them to me? What post was it that really spoke to them? Those types of things. We're living in a give, 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 ask economy. I love that. I love that on my social media. I love that in my messages. We have to give and ask questions, and it doesn't have to be complicated questions. It can just be, have you ever heard of that before? Have you ever done something like that before? Does that sound like it would be for you? Giving people an opportunity to comment something back instead of just, I'm going to tell all of this information, and then there's really no room to get a word in edgewise. Have you ever been to a party and there's one of those friends who is like a talker who can never stop talking, and the whole party you're like, I don't want to get stuck in the corner with Bob. I really just, that happened to me last time and I don't want to get stuck in, and you cannot get a word in? That's how people sometimes feel in messages. They feel overwhelmed. They feel like there's a lot of information being thrown at you. These are very easy things to tweak and learn from and mold as you go through your coaching business. So maybe you're doing some of the things I'm talking about. That is 125% A-okay. We're going to give you some examples and some early templates in order to change those things. So when you first start your business, or when you've had your business for a short amount of time, the easiest place to draw people from is your warm market. So your warm market, I'm using air quotes, but I don't think you guys can see me, is basically all of the people who are connected with you from a first to third degree connection. So that's either friends or family, friends of friends on Facebook, all of the people that your kind of affinity web touches, right? So your mom's cousin, Barb's aunt's sister, that's still warm market. You have a connection with them. That is the easiest place to start when you're a brand new coach. When I was a brand new coach, my coach asked me, hey, as a part of your initial assignments, I want you to take out a notebook and a pen, and I want you to write down all of the people in your life, whether it's friends or family, whether it's third degree connection, someone who you've been seeing on Facebook, maybe you haven't talked to since high school. Write down a big long list of all the people in your life who you think could benefit from what you're doing. Either a workout and a shake, a challenger, right? Or joining you in the business. For me, my list was super long. I included high school friends. I included people that I have been seeing on and off on social media, friends I've made throughout the years, my friends and family. And I just started sending messages to them, right? This is the second step. You should be spending 90% of your business sending invites. Crazy, right? 90% of your business should be spent talking to people, using these messages, getting them interested, getting them talking to them, right? So here's a couple examples. These are in my own voice, things that I actually send in messages. Notice how short they are. Notice how quirky they are, how to the point they are. The first one, my love. Okay, so I'm sure you've been seeing my posts. Here's the deal. I'm starting this online fitness group because I can't take feeling this way anymore, like we were talking about at the bar the other night. Question, would you want to do this with me? There's not many details in that, because what I want to do with these initial reach out messages is create curiosity. If you guys notice, these are super conversational and there's no detail in them, right? So what does that do? That first entices people to say, well, what are we even talking about here? And then secondly, it just sounds like a regular conversation and not a sales pitch, right? The second one was to my cousin, Helene, you need the shake like stat. Have you seen my posts? You know, I think that we have a tendency as new coaches and, you know, as we get kind of boggled down by all the details of what we have to offer, to think that our messages need to be full of details and full of all these perfectly worded sentences. But in fact, why coaching works and why it's so important to keep them simple is because this is peer-to-peer marketing, right? That's the most powerful kind of marketing in our society today. Today, people don't want to be sold by commercials and infomercials. That's why those businesses are dying right now. What is on the rise and what is skyrocketing to the top of the charts of all sales is peer-to-peer marketing. Think about websites like Yelp, Airbnb, Uber. They all have reviews for their drivers, for their apartments. They have people staying, using, going to these places, other people making decisions based off of that. People want to feel like they are getting recommendations from a friend instead of being sold a product, right? We all know at the end of the day, our product is killer, and of course we're selling something, but we're still human beings trying to make connections with other human beings so they can let us help them, right? But right now, everyone kind of has their guard up. I don't want to be sold anything. I don't want to be a salesperson, all of that stuff. News flash, everyone and every job is sales. Everything that you have in front of you right now was sold to you in some way, shape, or form. My water bottle, my coffee cup, my calendar, probably 90% of it, which I got at Target, which is sold to me from the store, from commercials, from advertising, right? We are no different. Here's a couple other examples. Okay, this sounds crazy, but we were asked to come up with a list of people who we think would be awesome in our group, and you were the first person to come to mind. Do you think you would like at-home workouts? Again, super, super simple, to the point. Linz, hey girl, I saw your Insta story today and I was wondering, are you a coach too? Because you already post just like one. This phrase is groundbreaking to start conversation. You're taking the pressure off of that other person, right? You're not saying, hey, do you want to become a coach? You're asking, are you a coach too? Because you are already doing the behaviors of a coach. That's planting a seed in that person. So if you have a challenger in your challenge group, a friend who's already posting selfies, already posting fitness posts, and you see qualities in them that would be good in a coach, that is your window to kind of send a message that opens up a conversation and also sparks a thought in their brain like, oh, this is an activity of a coach. If I'm already doing it, then why aren't I getting paid for it, right? I was wondering, are you a coach too? A great opener. Remember that time we used to cheer together? Why was that 90 million years ago? LOL. Anyway, I was thinking about some people who would be amazing additions to my team. It's a baby one. Ha ha. Would you be interested? You know, initially, it is our job to invite people to come along with us. When we're brand new coaches, or maybe we don't have a large team and we say, oh, well, I'm not successful enough to invite to it, or I haven't been a coach long enough to know enough about the business to invite to it. That is bull crap. If you've been a coach for 2 hours, you know more than someone who is not a coach yet, right? I know so many coaches who stall out because they tell themselves these stories about why they can't be successful or that they have to know all these things to send a message. The biggest factor in this business about success is action. As long as you're taking action, even if it's bad action, even if it's the wrong action, you are learning and moving forward. Okay, the next category, how to invite someone who likes your coaching or challenge group posts. So like I talked about that first 50% of your business success, and we talk about in the new coach training, your first post and then how to continue to share as a coach. So important to create that consistency for your followers. However, if someone is liking and commenting and following along, that's not enough. We can't expect that person to be brave and courageous enough to reach out to us to join our group. That's when it's our job to bridge the gap between someone who is following and we're noticing, right? And then bringing that person over to a conversation. And let me just say, all of these invites, for me at least, are not I sent an invite today, so I'm automatically going to get a response. This is, I start a conversation, I initialize a relationship, and then that grows as my business grows and as I continue to post, right? This business is a long-term opportunity. It's not I message 4 or 5 people, so I'm going to get 4 or 5 challengers, right? You have to create that momentum. So if someone is liking and consistently following your content, you want to also keep things simple and in your own voice. So if you wouldn't say, I'm creeping on your stuff, then don't type it. This is just an example. So, hey, Lovey, saw your comment on my coaching post, and it's actually funny because I think you would be perfect. Not gonna lie here, you have been on my perfect coach list for a long time. We were actually asked to make one of those. I'm not just being creepy, LOL. Another one, Babes, I saw your comment on my post about a challenge group. Were you interested in getting some details or just supporting me? Totally cool either way. Again, taking that pressure off. I remember us talking and joking about how crazy expensive the gym was last summer. Guess what? I found a better way. I saw you like my post today. That's what I was talking about. It would be so fun to do this together, right? Again, extending that hand, saying, this is something that I'm doing. Come along with me. I don't know all the details yet, but I'm going to the top and I need people to run with me. This last one is just a little bit of personality. Personality is king. Any of these messages would be great on voice note. I don't know if you guys know that little feature about voice note on your social media, but you can click a button and send a voice note. There's also some apps like Voxer and those things where you can just send those voice notes. Great feature. This last one, I see you liking, I see you creeping. LOL, JK, do you want some more info? Again, super short and to the point. Next, how to invite someone after you add them to your friends list or follow them on Instagram. So a large part of after your warm market is getting into your cold market. And there's a lot of tactics that we'll talk about later on this month of how to expand into your cold market, right? So the majority of people on our team are people that I never knew before they were on my team. That's from doing work on social media, expanding my market. So traditionally, in the beginning, the easiest way to do that is to add friends and follow people on Instagram, hashtag certain things that other people who might be in your niche market might be hashtagging as well, searching through those hashtags, following some of the people on Instagram, hoping that they follow you back, right? Those are all small, minute activities that you can do every single day to start to expand your reach. If you're not adding those activities in every single day, the same people seeing your content all the time isn't necessarily going to grow your following as large as you want, right? And there's tons of other tactics, but those are the ones that I want to focus on right now. So after you've invited someone to your friends list or sent them a friend request or sent them a follow request on Instagram, I like to send them a message, or maybe I noticed that they've newly followed me on my business page or on my Instagram. Then I will always make sure I make a connection, right? Hey girl, wanted to reach out after I sent you a random friend request, haha. I'm a new mom to be and I saw your name in that Lady Gang Moms group. You looked so cute. I related to your message about how you feel about your changing body. Girl, me freaking too. It sucks right now. Anyway, wanted to have another mama to be on my timeline thinking of you. Again, super simple, making a human connection. Something I would say in the grocery store if I met one of the girls in person that were in that group, really just trying to make a connection with someone. This is why it's so important on your social media to be consistently talking about what you're doing every single day, because as this person starts to follow you and starts to be in your web of communication, they pretty much know what you're all about. They pretty much know what you're doing every day. If one of these things falls short, then that's where you're going to see a strain on trying to get to your goals, right? You are so fun to follow, and your last picture in your maternity shoot, holy crap, girl, hottest mom award goes to you, right? Giving a compliment, telling people how awesome they are. It is so lackluster right now in our society how much we give out compliments. People love to be complimented. They love to feel good. So we get the job of doing that. I was cracking up at your Insta story of your dog. Mine does the same thing. Good to have you on my timeline. Can I just say you are a beauty? I enjoy seeing your posts every single day. That is all. This message in the middle is a message from one of my top coaches, Calais, and she says that this message is awesome on Instagram or Facebook. Hey, Morgan, happy Thursday. Special emoji. I just wanted to reach out and say thank you for following me and showing love on my post. It's hard to put myself out there sometimes, but having support from people like you means the world to me, fun emoji. You seem like a cool chick, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of your fun posts too. Anyways, thanks again. Hope your week is going well. This is a great point of connection, thanking someone for supporting you, acknowledging that you've seen them, which starts a conversation that is stress-free, right? I haven't messaged Morgan and said, here's all the details of what I think you'd be a good part of, and why don't you join me on it, right? I've made a connection there. I've added Morgan to my list of people who I've invited, and now I can move on to posting about those things. How to invite someone after, oh no, I think this is a double slide. Double slide, excuse me. How to send an invite after they haven't responded or said no to you. This is very important. So a lot of times I think we don't understand that people don't check their messages as much as us crazy coaches do. They have different schedules than us, are on different time zones than us. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but text messages for me are exactly like this. Like, I'll see a text message in the middle of the day and I'll acknowledge the text message. I'll look at the text message. I'll even think of a response to the text message in my head, and then I won't respond for days. And then I'll go back to my phone and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't respond to Marianne or Andrew, or my lawn guy texted me 4 days ago and I didn't respond. He probably thinks I'm trying to not pay my bill. But people have this with messages. Maybe they've seen it, haven't responded. Another interesting thing about marketing is that it takes someone 7 to 8 times to hear or see something for their mind to actually consider doing it. If you think about like the Super Bowl commercials, or you think about how much time it takes for a marketing firm to come up with a commercial. I mean, they spend years getting the right demographics, the right actors, the right ethnicities, the right setting to film these commercials that will hopefully sell what they have. Now, they don't put the commercial on one time and then take it down because, oh, everyone's seen it already. How many times have you seen the same freaking Domino's commercial, or the same Affleck commercial, for goodness sake, right? They're not scared for the same person to see their message. They're not scared because someone might have watched the commercial and not thought anything of it. They know, like any good marketer, that someone needs to be planted a message so many times before it actually takes shape in their brain, right? And this is the kind of no fear mentality that we need to have, right? And here's some examples. Hey girl, I can see you read my message. And if you aren't into it anymore, no worries at all. Just let me know either way so I can open up another spot in my challenge group. Either way, totally up to you. What this does is just take some of the pressure off of them. And then there's your chance to combat an objection, right? Which we'll talk about next week. So when I say, I have another person waiting for a spot, often it prompts them to respond because it's no longer about them, right? It's about the next person in line. So a lot of times they'll say, you know what, open up the spot to the next person because of X, Y, and Z. And then there's my chance to combat that, right? Number 2, I can see when people read messages, LOL, what are you nervous about? You know, when my coach first started talking to me, I can remember reading her message a couple times and thinking over my response like an exorbitant amount of times before I actually responded because I was nervous. You know, this was someone I was following on social media for a long time, and I wanted to say the right thing, and I didn't want to be judged because when I first signed up, I didn't have, you know, a ton of money to commit. So I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that I was nervous about the workouts because I didn't know if I could hang. I didn't want to say I don't cook, so how am I going to follow the meal plan? A lot of people not answering you or people saying no is based in insecurity. It has nothing to do with what you have to offer. It has nothing to do with, you know, the fact that you're offering a challenge group. People often put up a wall in front of themselves if they feel nervous or if they feel trepidatious about something, which has very little to do with you. So we have to make them feel comfortable or jolt them into a response so that we can kind of break down that invisible wall that they've been building up so that we can get inside of it. You know, oh, I read that one. Hey girl, I know last month you were focused on your dental bill. Just wondering if you got that all fixed. Man, what a hassle our teeth can be, LOL. This is an example of listening to the person and relating to their objection that they gave you, right? So for me, I have a notebook where I write down everyone I talked to the previous week or month. And then next to it, if they say no or haven't responded, I just write a little note, you know, had to get a cap on their tooth. So they had a big dental bill and that's why they said no. So I'll make sure I go back and reference what they actually were talking about so that that person, customer, coach, whatever, potential, understands that I was listening to them, right? I was interested in what they had to say and I did remember it. Hey love, we are having a holiday group start. I know last month wasn't a great time for you, but these girls are super excited and I think this vibe would be so good for you. How are things? Again, giving that compliment, extending an offer. When they say yes, can I have some more info how to get started? So we just spent 27 minutes talking about all different ways to invite people on Instagram, on Facebook, on Insta stories. But what do you do or say when they say, yeah, sure, give me some more info? This is often where people kind of freeze. So there's another template in the team page that kind of tells you how to answer all the questions about a challenge group and what's necessary. But I just wanted to do some quick responses that I typically use that keep the conversation going. Because often I find when someone asks me a question, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I say this time? I kind of want to simplify it and I don't want to scare them away or I don't want to give too much information. So how do I word it? I traditionally respond with something super simple and a question. I'm so glad you asked, smiley face. Have you ever heard of a Beachbody program before? P90X, Insanity, 21-Day Fix. And then usually they'll say, oh, I did 21-Day Fix a long time ago, or my friend had the containers, or, you know, I knew someone who was a coach, something like that. And that can open the window to me having a little bit longer of a conversation with them, right? The only requirements for the group would be a workout program of your choice, all at home and streaming, that I would help you choose, and Shakeology, our superfood shake, such a game changer. The group support and accountability are free 99, haha. So this is me kind of simply breaking down all the things that are needed. You know, the only cost, the only requirements, the workouts are all at home and streaming. Shakeology is a superfood shake, not a protein shake. Kind of just dribbling in or sprinkling those details within the messages without being super overwhelming. Basically, what we do in this group is help motivate, inspire, give info, and add a place where you can actually check in to see if you are staying on track, unlike the gym where they are hoping you don't show back up, LOL. Relating to something that everyone knows about. Everyone knows how a gym membership works. Everyone knows, you know, signing up for a gym and then not going back for a couple months and kind of wasting that money. Here's another one. You would already be great at coaching. Ever see a movie that's awesome that you tell everyone about, or maybe recommend a restaurant that changed your life with their spaghetti and meatballs? LOL. You would tell everyone about it. That's what we do. We use our programs, get results, and build businesses with that. That's how I would quickly describe the coaching opportunity to keep the conversation going. Another one, it's game changing. Helps me with my meals because I hate to cook but want to be skinny, LOL, and getting my workouts done. I always talk myself out of it on the way to the gym. Are you the same? Ending with a question. And then in this one, the particular thing that I like about this is really taking down that wall of people thinking that you're an expert. So a lot of people will say, well, I can't be a coach because I don't know anything about fitness, or I can't be a nutrition expert because I don't cook. The reason why Beachbody coaching works and why it's so successful is because we're peer-to-peer, right? In that message, I was taking down that wall of I'm an expert and I know everything. I don't cook either, and here's how it simplifies it for me. Really breaking down that wall of I'm not an expert. I'm simply someone who knows and loves these programs and it works for me. And now I'm going to take you through how I came to that conclusion and how I'm a normal person and how this helps me every single day. That is all I have for you guys tonight. I wanted to break down those invites. Again, this is 90% of the work that you do as a coach. So maybe you're looking to hit Success Club this month. Maybe you're looking to recruit some people on your team, but things aren't moving as fast as you'd like them to move. I want you to evaluate first your messages, evaluate your time. So where are you spending your time? And then evaluate the 50-50 percentage that I went over, right? Are you posting about your journey and what you're doing, creating that consistency? And then are you actually sending private messages, inviting people to what we're doing? 50% of the battle on both. So I hope that these examples help you guys. I will post them up after we are done with this call. And I love you guys so much. Have a good night and an awesome day. Bye.